What's up, data pipeliners? This is Data Engineer 1, and today we're going to be taking a look at the starter option for Kedro New. This is an option that was added in 0.16.3, which allows you to have a cookie cutter pipeline that has all the bits and pieces ready for you to create a new pipeline with. So I haven't really taken a look at this. We're going to be exploring it together today. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the starter lives inside of the Kedro CLI. You can actually type in new, and then you can do starter, and then equal to the starter that you want. We don't have any starters here, so let's go ahead and figure out what starters are available. If you type in Kedro starter list, this will give us a list of the starters that come with the Kedro CLI. And there's a few ones here that are actually publicly available. And so if you notice, they're actually using a Git repo for the starter, which means you can actually host your starter in your internal GitHub or your internal GitLab, and you can use that to share your different project templates with all of your coworkers and colleagues and friends and whoever is working on your pipelines with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of these starters, and let's try to explore how it's set up, and then maybe try out one of them in this video, okay? We've always been using Kedro starter pandas iris. That's the one that comes with Kedro when you type in Kedro new and then allow that example pipeline. So let's go ahead and give this one like a quick glance since we're so familiar with this one already. And here we go. We have the Kedro starter pandas iris GitHub repo. So here it comes a little photo of the pipeline. I think this README is definitely manually made, but we can go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff that's inside. So we have the Cookiecutter repo name, and then we have this features folder. What's inside of this features folder? Mainly just CI stuff. Okay, great. Yeah. So the features is actually just for Circle CI stuff. So it's okay. So it's not really anything specifically for our repository, but it's just good to see how they set up testing for their templates. So let's go ahead and take a look inside of here, cookiecutter.repo name. So Kedro uses Cookiecutter as the library package to create the template projects. And so here we can see this cookiecutter.repo name means that whatever repo name that you choose inside of that Kedro new, that's going to be replacing this Cookiecutter repo name. So if we go inside of this guy here, we can see a lot of things. So this is actually just the basic iris example pipeline. And I'm assuming that inside of this example pipeline, we've got some things changed. Yep, for example, these cookie cutters. So you're going to find a lot of these cookiecutter.python package, cookiecutter.etc. inside of these starter templates, because that's what's being used to populate the names. So you can actually choose dynamically at creation time what name you want to have. And so here, if we take a look at the pipeline itself, we should see our DE and DS pipeline. And here they are, just DE and DS right there. Going back, we can look inside of our pipelines, and this is really just all the basic stuff. Totally no surprise here, except even inside of the README, they include the cookie cutters. So right here, they have cookiecutter.kedro version as well. So these are things that we need to take note of if we want to make our own starter package. So we have to put a lot of these cookie cutters in. What I want to point out here is that they're using the relative paths. And so as you saw maybe in our modular pipelines video, you have to use these relative paths in order to make sure that your pipelines are plug and playable in other projects. If you don't have these relative paths, if you use something like the project name .pipelines.de.nodes inside of this import, what you're going to find is you're going to find that it's not going to work, since of course the repo name is going to change based on that cookie cutter variable. So that's something that you have to look out for when making these cookie cutters. Okay, so I think we took a quick enough look here. Why don't we just try and write something, huh? Let's go ahead and open up our command line, and we're going to type in Kedro new, and we're going to use the starters for pandas. So let's do pandas iris starter. So let's go ahead and type that in. We're going to name our pipeline, and ours is pandas iris starter look. And there it goes. It's all done. And I'm opening it up in PyCharm. And we can see here that it looks just like our beloved pipeline from previously. We have our source. And you can see here on the left that all of the cookie cutter names have been put into place. We've got these different names already injected into the project itself. So the project is all ready for anyone to use. And there's our project name. And so we can even go back over here, .repo name, source, and then inside of the .run, Python package and dot project name. So this is very straightforward, the way that these cookie cutter starter templates work. So this is awesome. So this means that any of the starters that are available inside of the Quantum Black Labs will have all of these things ready for us. I'd love to see these templates being pumped out to make it so much easier for people to create pipelines with specialized things. Like, so for example, Kedro Wings has its own setup process with hooks and stuff. It would be cool to just have a starter project that includes Kedro Wings already available. I know that there's a lot of community plugins out there that also have this kind of setup process that is required, namely Yusuke's Pipeline X, which I would love to cover on in a future video, as well as Wayland's Steel Toes plugins. And so there's a lot of plugins that go in, and of course our Great Expectations. And I think Great Expectations will be very, very useful to have something already set up for us. There's just so much potential here because it allows you to skip having to create any kind of injections into your Kedro CLI and actually just generate the pipeline that people need for when they need it. And I think it's just so awesome. So cool, so cool. If you guys think that this stuff is cool, make sure that you button that like, subscribe, and ring that ding if you want to know when we are pipelining. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.